Hello everyone and welcome back to Space Engineers. Today we are going to be working again on the corridor like last episode. For this episode we are going to be preparing it for kind of a modular set. We're going to be making 2 or 3 modules, well 2 wall modules, a roof module, and a collar module. The floors are going to be kind of bespoke because of the different blocks I am using, so we'll get into that. Next episode we'll be working back on the hull of the ship, so look forward to that. And before we get too far into it, if you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more Space Engineers or building content, because that will be coming along nicely. So, to start us off, I want to go for this double slanted wall that's in the inspiration photos that I have. It went terribly, and when I say terribly, I mean I got frustrated for about 2 days and left it, didn't work on it for a day about. And then at the very end, we make a version of what I'm working on that works. So I abandoned this probably 2 or 3 times before actually working out something. And yeah, it was an interesting build because shapes in this game have to be a lot larger than you normally have to build them. Well, than you would see in actual rendering or in any other like concept art or anything. So we end up going with this more industrialized kind of look and have it a bit more shaped than I wanted it to be. So it's this double pillared gray area in the middle. That's kind of what we're going with, this blue-white dark gray color. And we're using a lot of slabs in this build to kind of give it that next layer of detail. Because that's what's going to be really difficult on the inside of this build, is to give it that extra layer of detail to kind of make you feel like you're in a good detailed space. And that's really why I build in small blocks, is to get that extra layer of detail, not only in the walls but in the floor, and being able to like make corners and furniture and things and just have it a lot more detailed, much more than a large block could do. Even though large blocks have lots of modded blocks, or they have the tunnel blocks with the edges. With small blocks, I can make a corridor any shape I want. And that's kind of what we're doing here. So I definitely want to make sure that I get in this build contrast lighting, or whatever that lighting is that is extra, like the spot lighting. So we're going with an orange hue kind of thing here, and I'm pretty sure that's kind of what I run with throughout the build. And the orange is basically to complement the blue and the white, so it's kind of like a fourth-inary color, sort of. I do add in some spotlights in the end. That's kind of we go with from now on. We are also every time try and find better textures to use than just the iron armor. I don't have any good textures. I should probably be using the carpet tile, I think it's floor tiles mod a bit more, but the floor tiles only are squares. They only come in cubes, not half slabs or slabs. Half slabs, a double slab. Anyway, and they don't come in slants or anything, so I have to use them where I can. Unfortunately, with the carpet tiles or floor tiles, their textures are just shrunken down from their large block selves. So when you place it down, it's really minuscule. So a carpet, even though a large block looks normal in a large block, it's super tiny texture when you shrink it down. So another problem of the whole game, I suppose. But we'll work with it. So this is kind of dialing in that lighting. Something I like to do is put the control panel where I can see the whole thing. So this upper corner light is supposed to light the edge, so assuming this is a wall, like it is, it will light its edge of the corridor, because the spotlight in the middle won't be able to light the entire thing. So we have this complementary light, and then we have this fill light. We're then going to have a spotlight in the roof to kind of fill out the center of the corridor, and using these, what was it, 5 lights? So one complementary light on either end, 2 fill lights, and then the spotlight should get us a rather nicely, evenly, and stylistically lit up corridor. is kind of my thinking on that. It's a lot harder to build modular sets than just building out pieces, cutting it apart, because one of the things you have to worry about is not only does this part fit with the next part, but how this part fits with any other part. Like, these walls are great, but how do they fit next to a turn or a T-junction, or even a four-way junction, or next to a room? And I really want to make these walls to be able to kind of fit in anywhere, and that's why I cut the area where I'm working down to a very, very small size. That way I can use other blocks to transition. So the walls I'm working with, other than color and the middle of the roof, I think it's the 5 blocks or 6, 7 blocks in the middle. It's the area I'm working with is just a like a 7 by however tall the corridor is, and that leaves it basically I'm building wall panels that'll slot in, and the color will break up the panels, and then I'll be able to put the turns or T-junctions right on the other side of that collar. I'm also taking the roof out, so if I want to run pipes to the roof, I need to put in a new roof. The floors, like I said, have to be custom because I'm using these blocks that are 5 long, and with 7 long panels, unless I put a lot more of the textures I don't want, the vanilla iron panels, it'll look weird. So yeah, a lot of stuff when you're building modular sets, and this is not going to be a full set. This is going to be mostly just there to kind of get the base geometry of the corridor down, so I'll be able to throw together the insides after I get them mapped out, which hopefully we'll do sometime soon in an episode, maybe 2, 3, 4 episodes in the future. One of the things I really want to work on for the next few episodes is really nailing down the outside look, because we've got a lot of different designs on the outside, so I want to nail them down. So what we end up working with next is a much flatter look. So I don't know how much longer until we get to that one. I don't preview the videos before I get to them, I just talk over them. Hopefully they end up well. So that's kind of the end corridor look that we got. I think the edge fill lights could get a little bit brighter, so we're going to fill those in. I also try some different designs over the lights to see what would and wouldn't block the lights. It ends up that I believe it's vanilla or any slabs don't block the light, and definitely some of the modded ones don't block the light either. So I'm trying to fill in as much gray as possible to really bring each color out. So the gray is supposed to make the color and the white pop. The white is supposed to give the gray and blue color, and the blue is supposed to be there to stand out. So that's each of those what they're supposed to do. Hopefully they all are doing their job in even amounts. Though the white in this game is very odd. If it's not in a light that makes the white look like it's clipping, for those of you who aren't color or camera enthusiasts, I don't know how far the term clipping goes, is when you have something that loses its texture or amount of detail because it's too bright. I imagine most of you know that already, but for those of you who don't, so it's really odd to get a white in Space Engineers because the graphics engine just doesn't like white at all. And most of this looks gray. I'm pretty sure this piece is actually gray. I think I ended up changing it to white and then changing it back because it's supposed to be gray. I think that's what happens. But the floor and the detailing on most of the other parts, well, not detailing, but the general more than is gray. If it's not dark gray or blue, it's supposed to be white, not gray. Yes. So this is one of the roof pieces we're working on to get it kind of looking more industrial and piping. This is not the final version. This comes out more like a, I don't know what comes out. It just comes out full of pipes. And I don't like it, actually. So what I will end up doing is probably working on what I want to go where. And I might just leave like a blank one open. So basically a roof tile that will be there to run things. And then I'll run them once we get the final versions. And I want to, at least in the world of space engineers, make it look like there are power needs or oxygen needs or whatever. Make the things running through the ship meaningful. So rooms that need oxygen will have, every room will have its own oxygen vent thing. So it'll look like we have air ducts and we can seal off different parts of the ship. So bulkheads are going to need to be a thing. Didn't think of that till now. Power needs and data needs, so we're going to have to map all the wiring stuff out. We have plenty of space in the ship, so that should be fine. There should be no problem with running things places. I also want to do several different ways of conveyor belts. So the medium conveyor belts are going to be tucked into special corridors like Jeffrey's tubes or something. So we're going to have to build probably a modular subset for Jeffrey's tubes. And those should be crawl space size. We might do a walking space, but it's going to be basically the width of an engineer. And then we'll have the walls, I'm making this up right now, the walls will be just loads of piping. Different colored pipings will have different meanings. So a blue tube might be oxygen or water. Red tube will be, no, I forgot what I wanted the red tube to be, but orange will be something, and red will be something, and blue wires will be something, and so on and so forth. We'll have to make up our language when we go and map out the ship and map out all its internal things. So this wall was the bane of my existence. This is the one I was saying that just was so aggravating. I couldn't get it because the part I need for this gap is a 2 to 3 long or tall piece that's slanted on both edges the same direction. And it's a piece that doesn't exist and will never exist because nobody needs it except for this use case. And it's so bad. I ended up figuring out that the lights don't care that there's a block there. Only the spotlights do. And so what I ended up doing after 2 days or so trying to fix this light is I ended up making the shape on the outside that I wanted and just shining the light through the blocks, and that ended up with the exact thing that I wanted it to end up as. So that worked really well. What I try and do is several other things that make it look, this one looks like a garbage can. I hated that. I also do a couple others that just look too flat. I think that's the next one I try. And yeah, that one just looks like a garbage can when you walk past it. It's odd. It almost works, and it also has the extra bump because of the panels, the armor panels. I didn't like that either. It was supposed to be much more flowy of a design. It's supposed to look higher tech. So whatever medium to high tech is in my builds, that's what I'm aiming for. So after figuring all this out and trying to make it look different ways, at least this one, yeah, like I said, I worked for 2 or 3 days on this one. I'm just trying to find a direction that looked better. I also did, I don't believe if I live streamed this or did I live stream another thing, but I am starting to live stream these on my Twitch page, which is linked below. So if you guys want to catch live stream with this, I don't have a nailed down schedule on those yet, but I do have the days at least that I will go live, and it's most of the time 5 o'clock. So yeah, you can yell at me all you want for not being scheduled on there, but at least we have this scheduled. I mean, we're doing good so far. Though I'm trying to get a bit faster. We should have, and I'm not gonna have a great time after I say this, but the plan is to have 3 videos this week. But only one of them, no, 2 of them should be Space Engineer, so look forward to that, and subscribe for the content to come. So this is where I started going completely off the rails, trying to find some way to make this vent thing, this trash receptacle bit, look somewhat shaped into a wall, and it worked so badly. I basically sat there running my head into my keyboard trying to figure out a shape that makes the rest of the wall look okay, because of the slant on the bottom, I need to figure out a way to bring the top to the wall without it touching the ceiling or having this just really ugly slant in it. And I'm trying the stupid retexturing again. It never works. It never works, especially with the this texture I'm using, because it's almost no texture. The only texture there is for lighting purposes. It's a very, very fine texture, and it's bad. Yeah, nothing works here. So eventually I do give up this fool's errand, this whatever you want to call this, and just find some other way. I do try different places to put this slant. I tried moving it up. I realized the roof was different, and so then I had to bring that down, and it's yeah. This one didn't go well. This is, I want to leave this in here specifically for the fact of I want these videos to be more how I get to the end result, and less this is how the end result looks. And that's the entire reason why I left this in here. Is this is not me exactly knowing how every shape works. This is me trying to find shapes that work for my purposes. And I think I end up with a, yeah, this is what I end up, oh god. I think I end up with this going with the slants at 5 by 1 by 1 slant, going straight up to the top. And that's where I think I ended the live stream. And it was just, it looked so plain. It had no shape to it. Even though it had the technical look I wanted, which was the slant beneath having color. And looking at that now, it looks a lot better than what I ended up with the, at least with this version, with the slant pieces in one block. I think I do end up putting the last version of this, the version that I'm actually happy with, I think I have it matching up on that gray line. So I might go back and maybe make another piece that is slanted more, so it comes in one more block, and so the wall is completely within the blue end pieces, or the, what I call them, color modules. So we've gone, what? This is like 2-hour clip or something, an hour or 2-hour clip, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I did do this on stream, and I was so upset nothing was working. And I'm trying to say more about this, but there's nothing more to say other than it was 2 hours of complete headache, and it makes me sad. That's why we're moving back to the hole and stop doing this madness, because my brain can't take it. I'm gonna have to do it eventually, but hopefully I'll have a floor plan by then. I'll be able to get little bits done while working on modules, so I won't have to be trying to come up with these super detailed pieces a lot. Also, I'm trying to talk for the whole 20 minutes in every video, and that's more difficult than it sounds. And I probably sound like an absolute idiot, but I wanted to go with it anyway because I'm a glutton for punishment. And I like these videos, and people seem to like them, so here's to you guys. I did attempt to try and get like different colors or something for it. Nothing was saving this, and that's where I ended the clip. And it was just so bad. And then I finally get to it. I think it's like a day or two later. I think it's 2 days later. And I was with a completely different head, and I'm like, okay, I know what I'm aiming for, so what's the most basic form of what I'm aiming for? And I hate the character movement. Always spectator camera. Always spectator camera. And remember, in this world, we still have the giant ship behind me. It's still there. And there might be several copies of it in this world. So like I said, the most basic form of this was this slightly bezeled, not bezeled, but you have the two drop down pieces on each side. And this is not far off from what it actually ends up being. And the light is just stuck behind it, shining straight through the pieces. And we kind of iterate on this a bit. I think the bump in the middle goes away, because that's just dumb and ugly. So we remove that. Actually, don't know why I keep flipping it around. It's fine. So that's really almost what we go with right there. It has the 1x1x1 slope, and then it has a blue blade that's 2 or 3 tall, right above that, and it's right after it. So it slants in all the way, and the second slant is a full block at the bottom, and then slants in by 2 blocks, it looks like? Yeah, looks like it might be 2 or 3, I can't see it, but yeah. And then we work on lighting, I believe, in a second. Yes, getting all the things. I also use some armor panels in the middle. Armor panels. And that's to kind of break up the texture between the metal plating, the hull plating that is the normal block, and the side panels, or the armor slopes. There we go. The armor ramps, that's what they're called. And the armor panels kind of help break it up to kind of look like the armor slopes, and just kind of give it a little more texture than would normally have. And this one I also tried, I guess, putting the light in the top of it instead of outside. So I have the footlight as well behind the wall, and the contrast light, or the footlight, whatever you want to call it, at the bottom, shining through other blocks. I think it adds a nicer look to it because you don't have to see them, but also the what's it called, the fill light needs more space, so I might have to retweak that because it doesn't fill a lot of the stuff it's supposed to fill. I cannot wait to get to more of the inside of the ship and more of the outside. I do need to put some windows on the outside because there's no windows on the entire ship right now. So this is what I really like, that corridor with both sides smooth. And I might have to make a few more smooth pieces so I can have smoother corridors, because the other tile is a lot more wiggly and weird. So I'm definitely gonna do like different wall themes. So there'll be normal corridor, which anyone on the ship will be traversed or whatever, even civilians. So this is kind of that style. There'll be ones for only engineering, like the one I said with the tubes on the side and stuff like that. And then there'll be kind of somewhere in the middle. Like maybe I'll do a nicer, more homely kind of wall for like quarters, and kind of housing areas. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll make some command ones with some screens in them. That's actually a really good idea. Make one with screens in them. That I'll use kind of rarely. But that is all we do for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, if you liked the video, leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Well, guys, that is all for this episode. If you liked it, be sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more build-related content, subscribe for more, and check out my Patreon if you want to help support the channel. And that is it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.